This is a segment of the up-and-coming The Whole Chessboard video. I hope you enjoy. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. This is something the fallen messengers and man can never be. However, they can create a lesser corrupted form of such power through technology. Here lies the real purpose behind quantum computers. Quantum computing holds the power to calculate at extreme speeds and are only bottlenecked by the speed of data transfer. We have all noticed the increased education of the quantum realm through media like books, magazines, TV shows, and movies. This is called predictive programming, which is a subtle form of psychological conditioning provided by media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes, which are to be implemented in the future. If and when these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural and normal progressions, thus lessening possible public awareness and resistance. Quantum technology is based off of quantum physics. Quantum physics is the study of matter and energy at the most fundamental level. Quantum physics have central foundations like superposition, where an object has a combination of multiple possible states at the same time. A superposed object is akin to a ripple on the surface of a pond that is a combination of two waves overlapping. In a mathematical sense, an object in superposition can be represented by an equation that has more than one solution or outcome. The uncertainty principle, which is a mathematical concept that represents a trade-off between complementary points of view. In physics, this means that two properties of an object, such as its position and velocity, cannot both be precisely known at the same time. If we precisely measure the position of an electron, for example, we will be limited in how precisely we can know its speed. The most important foundation, quantum entanglement, which occurs when two or more objects are connected in such a way that they can be thought of as a single system, even if they are very far apart. The state of one object in that system can't be fully described without information on the state of another object. Likewise, learning information about one object automatically tells you something about the other, and vice versa. Quantum physics is impossible for man to calculate, and this is why a processor of unimaginable speed, like the quantum computer, is required. Quantum computing allows the next phase of the ancient Freemason plan to bloom. Quantum technology is replacing the entire world's infrastructure, where we have hospitals, we have quantum medbeds, where we have centralized banks, we have AI-controlled quantum currency, where we have manufacturing, we have AI-controlled quantum replicators, where we have internet, we will have AI-controlled quantum internet. Where we have a labor force, we will have AI-controlled quantum androids, AI-controlled quantum transportation, and AI-controlled quantum energy. Every aspect of our environment will be monitored by the AI-controlled quantum technology. I did a quick video about medbeds in January of 2022, and I suggest you watch it. The medbeds are tools that will excite your fibroblasts into healing and replication, and the temptation to use them will be tremendous. The gift will be growing a new limb for a military vet, or healing the blind, growing new teeth, curing cancer, dementia, any disease you can name, it will heal. It will even visually de-age you. However, there is a cost, and that cost comes through quantum entanglement. Your body, in simple terms, is scanned and copied, and anything that is done to the copy can be done to you. AI-controlled quantum currency where every dollar bill is tracked in real time. AI will control what you can buy or sell, so you best behave and do what you are told, lest you be cut off. AI-controlled replicators will create material that will be seemingly alive. The material will know who is touching it. If the material is a floor, it will know how many people are standing on it. It will know who is opening the fridge door, who is sitting too long and needs exercise in order to get their stipend from the AI quantum currency bank. All data will be running through the quantum internet, and the data will travel through digital light or Li-Fi. Digital light will come from sun simulators in the sky using magnetism and frequency to hover. What we are being told is anti-gravity technology, and transferring data through digital light will come from LEDs. Remember, light also exists in spectrum you can't see. There will be no need for wired or radio connections, as the world will be connected through light at all times. The AI-controlled quantum androids will be the workforce at home and in business. There will be no need for man to work when AI does the work faster and better. People will be stuck at home, growing bored and restless, which is a recipe for disaster. Man is meant to have a purpose, and when you take that away, man will become lost and agitated. But the deceptionists know this. Cars will no longer operate on their own. The demand for safe and efficient transportation will be manipulated through media, and our current independent transportation will become a thing of the past. You can ride a train across a country like Canada in an hour, or even transport yourself through a portal. Finally, there will be AI-controlled quantum energy. The world will finally have the promise of free energy, and like everything else, this energy will be tracked and controlled by the same AI designed to give you everything you ever needed, as long as you behave. Until the false utopia collapses as planned, and the world falls into chaos again, the only solution will be to hand over power to the entity with all the answers, who will declare himself God in the third temple.
Kindred is much more ambitious than D-Wave, and what Kindred is trying to do is build real AI. So what you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do. Literally anything. And obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways. So now imagine, not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do better than them. So imagine there was the mental Olympics of the 100-meter dash, and Usain Bolt is the fastest person. Now imagine that's some kind of a mental thing, like writing a novel or writing whatever. Imagine now that the thing is so much faster than Usain Bolt, like for example, it's a spaceship, yeah? It's still doing the same thing, but it's doing it so much better because we're limited, because we're people. So what Kindred is trying to do is solve this problem. How do you build machines that are better than people at everything? Now there's a mental block that we have here when we think about this. Because when you think about that, one of your questions might be, for example, what are the applications of this? So imagine this. Imagine for $10, let's say, I could build a machine, like a little robot that had fingers and eyes and all that, and it could do your job better than you, no matter what it is, and I could sell that to your employer for, say, $15 and make a profit, instead of having to pay you $100,000 a year. Now imagine that was true for every single job. So that's what we're talking about here, is a complete and utter transformative change that of the likes of which has never been seen before in the history of humanity, making the Industrial Revolution look like a little tiny blip on the path that humans have taken from when we emerged from the ooze a few billion years ago. We are right on the verge of that transition now. So this guy, Rich Sutton, is one of the most famous people in the academic world of AI. And like many, when asked, when will this happen, he says things like this. 25% chance within 13 years of this thing that I'm talking about. You know, when you think about what you read on the news, you know, CNN, BuzzFeed, whatever, they're all kind of the same nowadays. Think about how unimportant that thing is that you're reading if this is true. Yeah? So what does this have to do with aliens? So Sam Harris, who I quite admire, is a very interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED Talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So, say I'm the President of the United States. So I receive this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready. Now just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030, and boy, you better be ready because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world. AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room, in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware, because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.